Hello. I really need to get more new brushes. Yeah, that's fucked. Hey, Solway. How is everybody? Found a good match for the blue on the neck and pylon bases of the refit. Like I said, sadly, it's gotten large enough it won't fit on camera very well. We have to hold it and everything. I'm alright. Shoulder's still hurting like crazy. Did I just... I didn't feel like working on the tank today. Yesterday just... Yesterday snowballed. First, it was the issues trying to even get started. Then there was the connection issues. Then there was a damn power outage right after 5 minutes after I started a print. Yeah, somebody hit a power line. So I'm just going along and adding a bit of Army Painter shadow to the metal bits. Ooh. Well, last I saw, the Eldar were winning. Could be worse. Could be the Tau winning, right? Well, I've got the shader out. Print an alternate head. Gotcha. So it's been over a week now. We've given up hope on Arnie returning. So either he's fully passed away under somebody's old trailer or something, or somebody found him and took him in. Honestly, I'm thinking it's the latter. No, he wasn't. He'd never he'd never gone shown to want to go out before, unless we were out there with him. He's always been an indoor cat. Frankie and Allie are chipped now, and back when we got Arnie, they weren't offering it. We hadn't really bothered, you know. And we've done all we can to try and find him. We've looked around, we've left things outside for him, we've left food out, but there's also three other neighbor cats that hang around the house. But we noticed even in the week before that he wasn't jumping up anymore. Like he used to jump up on the counter to get his evening meal. He wasn't doing that anymore. We'd have to lift him up. So it was probably just his time, unfortunately. I'm trying to bring out the texture in the wrist strap for the gloves. Oh yeah, it's covered in it. Trying to do my best to give them a little life. The only one I really didn't like is the texture on the skin. It looks like perma goosebumps. It's a little too rough. Even in the original 6 scale, it would have been a little too rough. Just trying to make it not so contrasty that it's distracting, but I want it to be that the texture makes you want to look at it closer. Or maybe I'm just talking out my butt. I don't know. I've never been a fan of that high contrast, moody style. It just It just doesn't work for me because it feels not right to the eye. Fart paint? What do you mean by fart paint? Oh, I think there was a I think there was an artist who actually did that, and it was on display in the Manhattan Museum of Modern Art for a while. I can't be too sure. Those New Yorkers really like their weird art. Just trying to give all the high edges a little bit of a specular kick. But I did find a really good match to the light blue color used on the refit filming model. So that will be progressing quickly here, I think. Ooh, ooh, we have bench oats. Hello. Oh, we have a VoIP. Hello. I'm okay, Mike. How are you, Benchote? Yeah, you're live on my stream, by the way. No, the purpose of the call is to scam me. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, Benchote. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Bye. Yeah, I think the carbon fiber look really works on this, though. Ooh, I forgot to paint something on the claws. I forgot to paint a lot of things. Well, not forgot, just haven't gotten around to it. Uh-oh. My face. Which glue did I use? I think it was this one. You still unmotivated, Aries? So wait, what could we do to motivate Aries? Or you clean the house in the evening and use the weekend as a reward for having your house clean. I try to do that, but I fail a lot. Cleaning does help. Kind of helps you feel like you've earned your downtime, like you're allowing yourself to do it. I know it sounds weird, but that's kind of how it works. Yep, that is exactly it. There's too many days I've wound up like that. Like you get home from work and your head's just going 100 miles an hour, and no matter what you do, you can't get the brain to shut down. So you just kind of sit there and stare at YouTube or, whatever your vertical scrolling video thing of choice is. On the good news front, though, I was able to get in touch with Round 2 models, and a replacement part for Deep Space Nine will be on the way. Yeah, the one of the upper pylon halves was missing. I never did take I got the kit sealed, but I never really looked through it. So it's quite possible it got missed at the factory. That's what happens when they're molded and clear, too. One thing I do like, and I see a lot of people obsess over filling it, the seams on the pylons, as long as your pylons are flush, as long as the surfaces are flush, don't worry about filling them. Sand them level, maybe clean up the seam with a scriber, leave it though. The real filming model had seams there. Everybody obsesses about filling them when you really don't have to because they exist there. I'm using the 4 millimeter wide LED strip to light it. That's originally what I bought it for anyway. I just wound up using it on everything else. Um, but it's the perfect width to do the round sections. Um, I'm gonna make, in the core, I'm gonna make one that's on edge, just in the middle of it, for all those windows in the promenade and below. And then I might make a U-shaped one of six, just kind of folded in half, and stick it down into the energy core so I can light up that lower portion too. And then just little strips in the spokes on the outer edges, and that should provide enough internal lighting, especially after it's painted white, that the whole model will basically fill with light. Excuse me. Where is my neon green paint? Where did it go? There it is. Today's a slow day. Um, I don't know how long I'll be on here. I want to try for at least 2 hours. Seems to be a good minimum. So I know everybody was a buzz about the Baltimore Bridge the other day, right? And Aries, I don't know if you could spread more knowledge. Did you hear about the explosion on the subway in DC? I don't know if you heard about it since that's more local to you. Yeah, apparently something went bang. Lots of smoke and stuff like that. Was it on the 15th of February? It sounded like there was more recent, like the same day as the Boston thing or the bridge thing. I don't know. You guys like that look? Gotcha. I knew it wasn't so. I knew it wasn't something like the July 7th of '05 stuff. It looked like electrical smoke. It had that nasty brown color to it. You know. Well, it's the way the color of the blades are on the figure for the pre-render art. I'm just trying to follow that, but not be too tied to it. I might go back with some graphite and burnish the edge, give it a sheen. You gotta wonder how these mantis blades would hide in the body anyway. They don't. think even the Transformers would be hard pressed to say, I ain't fitting that in there. Needs a little more just on the core of the blade, I think. But it's the same base yellow color. I put the Vallejo black wash over it, or the dark gray wash, I should say. Whichever one this is. Yeah, dark gray. I also did some work on the GB racer yesterday. Hand painted the pinstriping on it. I don't know if I'm happy with how it came out, but I just want to finish the damn thing right now. It's the same one that was in the Rocketeer. Where's my steel? Still no sign of groceries. Hopefully the driver didn't eat them. Well, I hope so. I'm just glad the decals for the refit are working. I was afraid they'd be like the Vulcan shuttle. They're not. They are strong, they're flexible, they're not brittle and crackling at all. I think part of it is I went with the pearl white base instead of straight white. If I went with just a straight white coat, then they would be. The pearl white's just a bit darker in tone, so it allows them to hide more like the actual filming model did. Like all the stuff you see on the box art is over just a straight base white color. So what I did is I did my light blocking pass, a gray primer pass, a white primer pass, and then to me a pearl white over the white primer. We'll lay in some steel along the edge, and I'll come back later with some graphite to really burnish it up. Just be sure you keep track of which color you use. There's like two or three different color sets for the strong back and some of the other parts. Some are green, some are gray. I went with the bluish one because I've always seen it as blue in the movie. Other people, oh, I swear it's green. I don't know. All the publications, all the screenings, most of the pictures of the filming model I've seen show them blue. There we go. Allie, you're a pretty girl. Jeez, Allie, come here. We're gonna take a cat break. To change the chair cat notification to table cat. Yeah, because she jumped up right where her arms and head are, and I didn't want them getting knocked off the table. These out of your way. Hi, Alley girl. Yeah, we're taking a cat break. You seem to have, made that point very clear. Perpetual RBF on this cat. Are you purring? You're purring, yeah. So how long are you gonna be up here, huh? Am I gonna be able to continue building my model? Can I finish it? Hmm? Can I finish something, or do I not have your permission yet? No? Okay. Yep. Had you just over a year. Yep, found her and her brother freezing in a snowbank. Hi. What? Yeah, because this gets the YouTube views. Kitten content, right? Is that what we're after? Kitten content? I don't know if the purring came across on the microphone or not. Careful, that's where the paint water is. We don't need you knocking that over. No, 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 no. No paint. What? Ow! Why are you nipping? Hmm? Careful, careful. Ow! You're in a nippy mood today, girl. Yes, you are. I still can't do anything with you on here. You've gotten too big to do that now. Yeah, you've gotten too big to have you lay on the table while I'm working on at least this. I forgot I had this song on here. Rubbing the kitty. Rubbing the kitty! Good girl. So can you get down now? Hmm? No? You're just gonna back into the camera now? Okay. I'm making the adult decision here. Hmm? Yeah. Down you go. Ugh. It is dangerous to go alone. So what do you think you'll work on next, Ares? Gonna finish the Katinga? I mean, you're over 50% of the way there. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? Just pick a color and go over every surface of the model with all the spots that need to be that color, and then pick the next color. That's how I did it. Only took a week. Compared to the refit, the Katinga's small too. I gotta figure out a way to do a group shot of the Enterprise and the Kronos one though. The refit's just under 3 feet long. I mean, it's not that big. I think I need some aluminum here. Or how about this? I'll race both of you. I'll try and get the refit finished. Look how long it's taken me to get this far. Hell, Deep Space Nine's gonna be a walk in the park. Oh, so I've got a handicap. I gotta do the Reliant with one arm behind my back. How's that? You realize the Reliant, once I get the fiberglass figured out, is actually going to be quicker than the refit. Because it's only got the two engines, the main hull, and the torpedo bar. I'm not bothering with the hangar bay. Filming model didn't have one. I can see it now. People watch just to see me build a model with one hand tied behind my back. Reliant will also be getting an 11.1 volt battery. I put the large string of LED in it, you know, the thicker one, and just lit up part of it. Holy crap. Problem is, it was too blue. It needs to be warmer and match the refit, so I need to order another roll of the LED string I used on the refit and all my other models. I'm already kind of working with one hand tied behind my back with my shoulder hurting the way it is. It's enough for me just to hold the part while I'm doing this. I mean, I've been working with other handicaps, you know. You want to go fishing? I need you to start streaming on days when I'm off so I can spoil you. Or torture you, or however you want to look at it. Yeah, I work all those days, so I'm never home when you're on. I can't do it from work. I don't have it all tied to my phone. I don't want that tied to my phone. Oof, that's never good. You need more of the bomb. Bum bada bum bada bum bada bum bada bum. What was I gonna do? Besides having an aneurysm live on stream, what was I gonna do? Uh, At least the stream's been steady today. Oh, good God! I can feel my stomach turning inside out just looking at the box. No, not gonna do it. And I don't do hot sauce anything at all. You know that, but oh, just the smell of the pepper mash makes my stomach turn. You know that Tabasco smell? I can't stand it. Only 800,000 on the Schofield. Yeah, only. It's only 2 megatons. It'll just give you a light tan and burn some silhouettes into sidewalks. It's only two. I'm just wondering what I could surprise Solway with for Christmas. I mean, I could do Kronos 1, but then you'd have to lay out 100 for the photo etch set. I don't even have a 350th scale NX01 myself, so if I'm getting one for somebody, I need to have it for myself first. Maybe we'll get lucky and round two will re-release it. Oh, I know you do. I was there when you bought it. If I remember right, you bought it either at Snetterton Market or the shop in Bury St. Edmunds. I think it was the one in Bury St. Edmunds. I used to have it. It just didn't like traveling at all. And heaven forbid it's the one 350th kit they don't reissue regularly. The Katinga's had a couple runs. The refit's still being popped as far as I know. TOS is still being popped. The Grissom's going. A round two. How about another pop of 350th NX01? Or would that be too much for you guys to see me do? I think painting it was a little daunting for most people too because it was a metallic ship in color. And for as fondly as it's remembered now, Enterprise really wasn't that well thought of a show, you know? I know people like it, but when you look at the grand scheme of Star Trek, it was, as far as ship designs, not the greatest. Yeah, except the original series Enterprise, the light kit for it cost more um, than the actual model. So yeah, you could buy the NX01 kit for 150. The lighting kit for it's 200. Oh yeah. Any Star Trek, well, any Star Trek pre-Discovery is like a Shakespearean epic compared to Discovery. Well, that's an aftermarket light kit too. There's never an official um, polar lights when released, not like for the original series. These are good. They actually have swappable lenses that can go up to like 5 or 6 times magnification, and they're rechargeable. And you, you can either push it in or pull it out depending on what's comfortable for your vision distance as well. They're only like 15 or 18 bucks on Amazon, depending on where you buy them. The more I use them, the more I've gotten used to them. But I still get eye strain from time to time just because of I'm not used to focusing through something to paint. I used to be able to do stuff like this without it. Try to get back in there. We'll try it from this side. I will probably be getting glasses in some point in the near future. Oh, geez. Making your own brushes out of chinchilla hair so you can get fine enough to paint the pupils and the irises on your epic scale Imperial Guard. Oof. My thing is my eyes. Yeah, he had an astigmatism. My eyes have become unbalanced. Like they'll both focus, just one doesn't focus as tightly as it used to compared to the other. This restores that balance because it's not having to work as hard. And it could be that I have the onset of an astigmatism. I'm also right eye dominant. So when I'm looking through this, I'm still primarily focusing with my right eye. I can feel it. And it took some getting used to get a feel for focusing through it and moving my hands appropriately because that's the worst thing is learning how to judge the distance with a magnifier on. Yeah, I'm not that bad yet. I can still focus, just not up close like I used to be able to. Like I used to be able to hold things at like this distance. You see how far away my hands are from my head? I used to be able to hold things like this without this and paint just as I am now. So it's just a bit of a tweak. If it continues to get worse and degenerate, I'll look into getting adjustment. No, it's not that it's constantly doing it. It's just it won't do it at all. It took long enough. Everybody else in my family has had glasses since they were kids. Yeah, that's how it started with me. If I remember right, it was around the time of the lockdowns too that I really started to notice it. And another thing that was cluing me in that my vision was getting worse is every now and again my eyes would get locked crossed. Like I'd have to go lay down, take a nap for a while because I couldn't unfocus from right in front of me. Yep, listen to us old guys talking about going blind, right? So I'm off Sunday. Oof. Well, make her an excellent miniature painter once you can get that going, right? Um. Anyway, I was saying I'm off Sunday, so I'll probably be doing a stream at some point that day. I don't know when because going to see Ghostbusters that day. And what's funny is I've heard some reviews, and people are complaining that it's not comedy. Um, I challenge anyone to go back and watch the first one. And if you watch the first one, and I think this is why the second one didn't do so well, the first movie was played absolutely straight. There was a you had Rick Moranis. He was what Paul Rudd's character is now. He was the guy that does the quippy statements. He's the funny comic relief guy. But back then you had all three of them playing it straight. The comedy came from their reaction to it by playing it straight. Exactly. It was comedy by proxy. And what didn't work in Ghostbusters 2, um, Ghostbusters 2, they tried to be funny. It wasn't comedy by proxy, it was situational comedy. The toaster, the train tracks, the courtroom. There was always something trying to be funny or somebody trying to be funny where it didn't let the comedy happen. Same director and same team, so it's odd that that happened. But the first one wasn't funny because they intentionally made it that way. It was funny because, like you said, by proxy. They switch on the proton pack for the first time, and instead of sitting there and making stupid jokes like the 2016 Ghostbusters, they all just kind of looked and scooted to the far corner of the elevator. That was it. That was the joke. Yeah. And they tried to put those winky face, this is where you laugh moments in the second one, and it didn't work. Whereas in the first one, it worked perfectly. And I think that's what this one's going to be like because even Afterlife was played straight, right? It had its funny moments, and Paul Rudd was kind of the Lewis Tully character, but overall it was played straight and it worked. And I think that's what's going on in this one too. And everybody who wants winky face comedy isn't getting it, so they're not happy. Where's my green green? There's my green green. So I haven't seen it yet. No spoilers if you have. If you spoil it, I'm banning you for a week. Nah, I look at it this way: if it falls between, oh no, if it falls between Ghostbusters 2 and Afterlife, then I think I'll be fine. As long as it's not 2016, unless they do that, interdimensional cross rip shit and make them legit. Please tell me they didn't somehow work the 2016 cast into it. I'll be very unhappy. And that's why the 2016 one, I didn't have any intention of wanting to see it because it was forced. I could tell from the trailer it was forced. So it's like, nope, not getting my money. Afterlife actually looks like it's got some potential, like something in it I would like. I couldn't get past the trailer before I was like, nope, for the 2016 one. So what's that tell you? That I wasn't its target audience, as they like to say these days. I think if there's anything about the new one I might not like, is they try and have everybody in it for too much time. Afterlife did it just right. They let us concentrate on all the new characters, brought in the old guys at the end as the little, topper on the cake, but they let the new cast stand. Hey, as long as I get to see Bill Murray yell at William Atherton again, I think I'll be fine. I like the 2009 game. Got somebody watching on YouTube. Welcome, welcome. Don't be shy. Go ahead and say hi. I forgot to paint the yellow wire on this one, so I got to get more yellow out. And I have an idea for the bandana on her leg. It's gonna be kind of out there. I'm just gonna do it like black and yellow caution marking stuff. So I'm probably gonna at least base it in yellow while I've got the remnants here. Work on that a bit more in a bit. Just trying to find something to paint to. That'll work for now. And no sneeze. I hope everybody else is getting ready to have good weekends, though. My weekend is ending. My nose keeps tickling because of Allie's cat hairs. For those joining in just now, the cat was on the table earlier. Actually, where is she now? I don't want to step on her on accident. Okay. She probably went back upstairs to bug Jen. Might work. Okay. I know this yellow's going on thin, but that's all I needed to do is be a base color. Strange is going on that thin, though. I've never thinned it out. Uh, no, because the C isn't a whole hell of a lot smaller than the D, and even its 1/1000th scale, I believe the D is 4 feet long. So you're looking at a 6 to 8 foot model in 350th. No, thank you. That's the filming model. Like that is quite literally the filming model. We might even end a little early today. I don't know. What do you think? It's gotten pretty quiet. I'm kind of just not feeling it today either. Like feeling what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, like I want to hop around to different things. My model building ADD is really kicking in. How's that? I know Twitch has had to change its rules again because of it. But I don't pay attention to the titty streamers. Twitch has essentially become baby's first porn site. I really don't want to think about that because honestly, none of the girls on here are really worth the time and effort. But then again, I'm 47 years old and been married for 20 years, so I have a different outlook on it than that. Says the guy painting a half naked model of a cyberpunk chick, but again, that is different. I don't get off on this. I just think it's a neat looking character. Ares, really? Ugh. I really don't need a reminder of roast beef and cheese. But yes, you're right, Solway. Go be on Pornhub and push your wares there. For those on YouTube who can't see it, there's three people watching on YouTube. At least I hope they're watching. Somebody on Twitch just said colonoscopy cam. 3.7k watching. Hey Alex, how you doing? No, the Grizzlies. I shit you not. The Grizzlies fine, Alex. There's nothing wrong with it. Just taking a day from it because I've been working on it a little bit every day this past week. Um, and I just had too many tech troubles yesterday that I didn't really feel like getting it back out. Yeah, you can't see this character Starfish, but I'm sure somebody'll say something because, it's the female form. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yesterday was Fubar. There's a couple other things that happened after that, which is part of why I didn't get back on. Let's see, there was a technical issues trying to even get started. You probably saw the dropouts. Um, and then after I stopped, there was a power outage. Some idiot ran into a power pole near here and knocked out the power. And I had just started a 3D print. It's feeling a little better. I've taken some ibuprofen and I've been kind of putting it through like rotations and stuff, just trying to keep it more limber. It did this before though, where it felt fine 1 minute and then I farted too hard and it hurt again. And then Solway's been mentioning how the latest thing on Twitch is girls in thongs sitting on clear objects to mush their ass cheeks, I guess. I don't know. Show off their little clam slam, whatever you want to call it. I think some of them are butt puckering to the glass like a naked cat. Kind of like that one poor sod who's got to follow the hairless cat around the vet's office, wiping its butthole prints off the countertop every time it sits down. Hey, dysfunctional cabinet. We are painting a Cyberpunk roller derby character. So here's the torso and body. And then jacket, arms, apparently rifle calibered Chris Vectors, judging from the size of the mags. And then she's also got the mantis blades. And I think I am pretty much finished with the face. I can't really do much more to make that better. That real quick. And welcome to the channel. Ow. My earphones were pushing on my ear the wrong way. Adding the gloss to the eyes really brought them to life. Gives them that shine they need. So I'm just trying to get the finishing touches down so I can actually get it mounted, all put together. I don't think that'll be today, though. There's still just a little too much going on with it to say I can finish it today. And we're just discussing trends on Twitch that are making them have to redesign the rules yet again, apparently. I saw It's a Gundam was talking about it yesterday. I didn't quite know what was going on because I missed the part about the details. This one is from 3D Sculpts. If you 3D print and you want to try it out, it's 3D SQULPTS. If I remember right, the files were like $25. And then I bumped it up 200% on my printer to make it 1/3 scale. This is part of why I'm starting to stream on YouTube, because it feels like people on Twitch find a gap in the rules and try and exploit it for as long as they can. And it's just become a hive of degeneracy. If you're not if you're not a fake character gamer or a titty streamer, you're going to get ignored. I used to have I used to play airsoft. I used to have a guy that I played against all the time. He had that Chris Vector as well. Um, I still have my gas MP7, my electric MP7, my G36s, and my pulse rifle. If there was an indoor airsoft arena here still, I'd probably still be playing. No, I don't know, Aries. Let's give Kick a year and see what it turns into, because I have a feeling it's going to go the same way. So I'm just using the Vallejo acrylic dark gray wash to kind of pick out the stitching and the seam lines on this. It's so large I can actually keep the detail a bit more subtle. Oh, I caught it and promptly threw it out. Hey, I'm still waiting for the day that I pop into Soulway Stream and go, hello there, and I get a General Kenobi back. But nope, not gonna happen. She's cyberpunk, not an activist. She doesn't work for Kotaku. Are we sure? We've never met Solway off stream. How do you know? It could be the one thing he's been trying to hide from us all these years. I think it's safe to say he doesn't have the T Rex fingers, though. So we're good there. But he could have multiple appendages outside of the standard, two legs, two arms. What's not Twitch safe? Yes, foot fetish. Foot fetish. What's funny is I remember when I lived in England, TV after 10, there'd always be that phone-in show where it was basically what Twitch has become now. Just the girls in their thongs with their floppies hanging out. Jen put it on one night out of curiosity, and she's like, "Who's this Anon person that keeps donating on?" And I looked at her and I said, "You really don't know what Anonymous is?" She shut up after that. Yes, that's what it was. Babe Station. Yep. It was funny as hell to watch. But it also showed you just how many truly lonely people were out there, too. Oh, kind of like how the clam slamming's going around on Twitch right now. Like you were saying about those textures, that just it looks like fabric. Ugh. The tub thing must have been after I lived there because they never had that. They always had the just they were on a couch. So if I got some of the bikini parts for all the frame arms girls and made a hot tub and just put some dry ice in it and just had a camera on it for 4 or 5 hours, that would probably make some money, you're saying, right? True. Very true. And no butt zits. And the thing is, it's been banned, it's still going on. Kind of like Disney Star Wars. How many people are just watching it to hate watch it now to see what the stupidity's all about? God, you couldn't do live stop motion. Not unless you scanned them and then like recreated the figures like precisely in CG and did like pre-programmed animation loops on them for certain things. But Solway, I have to be honest with you, I'm glad I don't go into that section of Twitch at all. Like I have no interest. And even when it shows up on my suggested page, I click the three dots and click not interested. Either rejects or never had the vaginal fortitude to get into it to begin with. God, why do I think this is going to get my YouTube channel shut down? Here I am building models talking about crap going on like that. Great channel, guys. But that's what live shit's for, right? Personally, just me being my age, it shows a certain amount of lack of self respect to me. I thought I uploaded it to you. Are you looking at the sneakers too? There's an option to do her without the roller skates, but honestly, I like the look that it gives her. Yeah, yes, people should shut up and mind their own ADHD. Exactly. What is this? Ooh, shoulder just popped. Gotcha. Yeah, I want to finish this one up before I finish printing Rin Killer as well. Considering she's on one leg, it probably wouldn't hurt to pin her and just sticker on wood. Um, be sure you print as much as you can hollow. Oh, that's not good. Ow. I need to have a drink. I think you shouldn't get like me and have 10 things going at once. Pick one thing and finish it. Don't do what I do. Excuse me. So I need to set this aside for a minute and let it dry for some. We're going to back to the mantis blade. I need red, palette, flesh. Did you find all the parts to the Roger Young? Thought you said you'd lost one or two. You might be able to buy some Plastruct pre-made truss or some photo etch truss and make that. Yeah, paperclip will look better anyway. I just wish I'd bought the model as well when it was available. Now it's not. It's the old iFactory kit. It's actually based off of a small filming model made by the effects house back in the day. They're right in terms of their proportion and detailing, but there's a couple sections that are essential that have inverted faces and a whole bunch of other crap where it's essentially unprintable. It'll cause holes in the model and floating pieces that'll actually damage your printer if you're not careful. Now, I've seen other people out there have actually printed it, but they probably also fixed it or they FDM printed it, which means they didn't have to worry about, crushing their screen. Hmm. Possibly. I got to shave tonight. Well, this figure is kind of a mix of a couple of things. I found some cyberpunk art online, and the character, it's a female character wearing the same uh, brief bottoms with a blue vest with the black patch and the pink kanji. But that's where the similarity ends, as that character is holding a revolver of some sort and has longer hair and different like different cybernetics. Like her legs are hexagonal, patterned, and all this other stuff. But it seems like that picture was the inspiration for the design of this figure. I actually have the picture here. Let's do this. So here's the art that I think this figure was based on originally, and they changed it. I debated on that, but I think there's enough going on with the figure that even without tattoos, it looks good. I debated on adding some just here and there. Still waiting on someone to do a good figure of Red Hood from Nikkei. That and Nihilister too. I don't know. You think I should add some of the tattoos to her or no? No, I'll leave it like it is. I think there's enough going on. Like I said, if she didn't have the vectors and the twin blades and all the other stuff going, yeah, yeah, we won't go the tattooed route. I think this one's ready to be glued on. This one's almost ready. We're getting there. Need the steel again. Hello to anybody else watching on YouTube. Welcome to the channel. I'm really happy with this figure. And sometimes you just want a good figure that makes you want to take your time painting it. I know other people who'd probably blast through this thing in a day or two. It's not always fun. Sometimes you get into a project where it's like, yeah, boom, you're done, without even thinking about it. But other times you just want one that, if it takes a month, it takes a month. Unlike Ripley and Newt, they're taking a month because they keep falling and breaking. They're laying in a pile on the floor over there where they fell last night, and I'm not about to pick them up right now. Let me grab some graphite. Be right back. If I remember right, I think it's 6B that's one of the softer ones. I've forgotten so much out of my courses that I don't remember what does what. Space assassin with a katana, hexagonal skin tight armor. That does sound familiar. Rubbing graphite on the blade edge just to give it a bit more realistic shine. Doesn't really show up on camera that well, but in person it's got a nice little glint to it. Hey, if my music player would stop repeating the same 5 songs, I've got a couple thousand on here. There we go. Swarm. Finger cleaned off. Probably not the first time that's been heard on Twitch, especially lately. Hey! It's one I've used, yeah. And then there's also the carbon fiber. That was done using an airbrush and pantyhose. Just trying to see if I need to. I'm going to paint some more hoses up in there before I glue that mantis blade in. Oh, we might have another benchode. Hello? Hello? Hey, Benchode, get your mic out of your nose. I can hear you. Ugh. Really wish there was a way to just destroy those call centers. Nah, I like to because it wastes their time and it makes them feel like shit. And it does. Hello there. And, if I didn't answer, I'd lose some of the joy I get in my day. One time I answered one, he goes, "Oh, my name is Sean." I'm like, "You don't sound like a Sean. You don't have an Irish accent. You don't say top of the morning." And he just stopped. He couldn't answer to that. I broke script. I'm going to glue the blades on now so they're not floating around. Ow. My shoulder just did that thing where it does the thing and it hurts. Oh, my coworkers love it when I do it. I'll answer. I'll answer back. I'll be like, "Oh, how are you doing? I'm down the cubicle from you. I'm 3 seats down." Careful, you might start a new Twitch thing and have people arrested for animal abuse next. She licked your brain. Wow. I just wish they'd make one of these super glue applicators so it doesn't bubble up around the spritzer when you're done using it. It's like, come on. I lose more every time I push down on it than I actually spray out. We might finish her tonight. All I really have left is that bandana wrapped around her knee and some minor touch-ups on her skin. Here and there, nothing major. And then the display base. Well, one way to keep that from happening is after you stand the bottle upright. So, like, use this as an example. Keep it upright. Let as much of it drain down as possible, but give it a squeeze. Squeeze out the excess, wipe, and then let it go. That helps a long way. Ah. What? Yeah. Dude, this figure's like 2 feet tall when it's done, too. Like, here's the body. Okay, now I need the black gray. And if you notice, the vectors have the meat tenderizer fronts on them. Which will totally bone up the spacing on this. Move the brush stand out of the way, too. So, I'm still on the fence with Alien Romulus, though. Um, Mainly because they're relying on imagery and ideas that have been used too many times in previous films. And by that, I mean, the main character's always got to be female and a Ripley clone in terms of what they do. The character of Ripley developed over a very specific set of circumstances in the original film and continued to do so over Aliens and Alien 3 and even Resurrection to a degree. And I think by trying to recreate that by just writing strong character kind of belittles what Ripley was. She wasn't strong because she was a woman. She just happened to be a strong person that happened to be a woman. And it just happened that the original script said that any character could be played by a woman. And they ran with that, and it worked. But we'll see. Sorry for hitting the microphone. There's only so much room for this. Part of the reason you don't see me working on the refit on stream right now either. There is no room on this desk for that. Like I actually have to move the camera out of the way. You could say that. The thing is, you see in Alien that she was a very by the book kind of character, right? And by the end of the film, you also saw that she was willing to say fuck the company at the sake of survival, you know? And James Cameron got it right when he wrote her in a similar way in Aliens. But they also, oh, not in the original theater cut, but in the director's cut, they established that she had lost her child because of everything, you know? What the fuck? Why does it keep cutting out? But she also had purpose. Um, in the second one, she was regaining her child, you know, because she found Newt basically as the lone survivor. In the third one, she'd had all that ripped away from her. Kind of a stupid idea to go with, but when you've got egomaniacs like David Geiler and Walter Hill trying to run the show, you get what you get. They even tried the same shit on Alien when it was being made. And I think James Cameron basically just stonewalled them out of Aliens. They were still producers through Brandywine, but he basically told them to shut the fuck up. Um, but not even only Ripley had purpose, but the alien had purpose in the story. Exactly, the small scene where they show her looking at her daughter, right? That changes the dynamic of the entire film and the character. But it also gives the character agency. It gives all the further events purpose. Um, More so than they had in the theatrical cut. And that's where the others have kind of messed up. There's no agency for the characters to be the way they are. They just are because they're written that way. Um, Even the alien, for lack of a better thing, in the first movie and the second movie, they had purpose to the story. The first movie, it was the unknown, it was the alien, it was the intruder on the ship, the eighth passenger, as it were, right? But go back and watch Alien if you haven't in a while. Did you ever notice something? It never once hunted down a crew member. They always stumbled on it. But it still had agency within its own story in that you didn't know where it was, you didn't know where it was coming from, you didn't know anything about it. It had purpose. Same thing in Aliens. They were like an ant hive, they were like bugs, right? It gave them something to do, something to be. Alien 3, it was kind of like that. They kind of went back to the original idea of it. Um, with the background of how it is in Aliens, you can see that it was probably protecting the queen and getting ready to make a nest and all that, which was in one of the original scripts. Um, but it just felt like generic creature number 10. You know, you could replace it with any other Hollywood slasher monster, and the story wouldn't have changed. Alien Resurrection, they actually gave the alien agency within its own story again. They gave it purpose. They made it a science experiment gone amok. But Ridley Scott was right in that they changed it into the slasher villain. Problem is, when it came to doing Alien Covenant, Ridley Scott didn't change it from being the slasher villain. They gave it no reason to be in the story except that David reverse engineered it. That was it. And that wasn't even explained in the story. You had to watch the extras on the DVD to know that David had been communicating with Weyland-Yutani, and they wanted him to stay trapped on that planet. That's why when they get the neutrino burst, and they're like, "Why didn't this planet show up on our scans?" There's a fucking reason, people. But they don't explain it. They don't tell you how bad David is beforehand, because he really didn't matter to the story at the time. But everybody went in knowing he was in it, so it's not like it was a big secret that they were trying to hide. Um, but yeah, they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that one. What was I going to do? That's right, paint this dark gray. Well, this leg wrap dries. But they removed the purpose for the creature existing, really. I think so, at least. Use up the rest of this black gray. Get the basalt gray out. There we go. It went from being a sinister, scary presence to slasher killer of the week number 3. I should probably have airbrushed this, but oh well, here we are. I agree. Um, Dune is a fine example of that. There is so much going on in the background of the story that is explained in the book and other dialogues that they have to leave out, that the overall story is better for it, but the film suffers from it. I just don't feel like airbrushing this. It's gonna be a sloppy base anyway. In terms of how I finish it, it doesn't need to be that refined. And trying to paint diamond plate is just a pain in the ass. And they can make movies 4 hours long. The problem is those movies don't do well because they can only show them X amount of time in theaters. That's why there's a 90 minute to 2 hour cap for most films, outside of something like Schindler's List and other special films that require a longer runtime. Um, you make more money per seat that way, when it comes down to the economics of it. But most directors, if you let them, yeah, they'd make 4 hour movies. They wouldn't handicap themselves on purpose like that. Wasn't The Abyss like half an hour longer, if I remember right? I think I've got the director's cut somewhere of that. And it was already a 2.5 hour movie to begin with. I remember seeing that in theaters too. What movie was it where the original cut was like 4 hours long and they had to trim it down? They had like no choice but to do that. Besides Dr. Shivago. Yeah, I'm gonna do black around the entire edge of the base. I'm just making sure I get the plastic edge. And this is a repurposed base from something else. I just feel the industrial kind of textures work with it. Not that you'd want to roller skate on tread plate. So let this dry. So the way I do worn metal, you paint it dark gray, then you give it a thick wash of burnt umber, or this, where is it? Either burnt umber artist oils will work, or this stuff, the Vallejo oiled earth. You want something that's muddy and rusty looking. Um, so you hit it with burnt umber, and then you hit it with burnt sienna. So it's got a nice orangey hue to it. And then you go back with the graphite and rub it over all the high points, and it turns out looking like rusted metal that's been worn. Give me a second, I'll show you an example. So if you look here, that's exactly what I did for this manhole cover. Gray base, burnt umber and burnt sienna washes, and then a graphite buffing. Area Studios, thank you for the cheer. Thank you very much. Every little helps. Love to get some more subscribers eventually too, but that will come if I can ever get myself on a more regular streaming schedule. I'll get them as they get them. Ooh, Generation Zero. I did. The guy still just hasn't been able to pay me for it, so he doesn't get it until he does. Let me get it out of here so it doesn't get damaged. Yeah, he kind of had a heart attack over the winter, so yeah, I wasn't about to bug him. Figured that would be bad form. I don't care that you almost died. Give me my money. For anyone taking that out of context, go fuck yourself. So yeah, he almost had a heart attack. I wasn't about to push him on paying for that up front, but he's gotten back on track. I should be getting the money for it next month. Yeah, pay the boatman or cross the river. Okay, so I'm gonna mix the yellow with a little bit of leather brown just so I can do the shadows on that knee wrap. I really think that'll be the last major thing before I glue it all together. There we go. To the desk, fat ass. I'm not out any money from that figure anyway. It's just one that I happen to be doing that he likes, so he offered to buy it from me. So it's not like I'm out money for a commission or something. So again, that's another reason not to rush him. So yeah, there might be a new YouTube short with her tonight. I forgot how good some of the Crystal Methods music could be. Drop. If you're on Twitch, anytime I drop something, if you hit exclamation point drop, it puts a message up. So far, 103 times since we implemented that. I try and make them work. It's real easy to do. You just need a supply drop. You need you base paint it black. Then you get some nylon stockings, stretch it over, and then spray gunmetal through it, or some kind of dark metallic color, and that's what you get. But once I'm done with the stream for today, there's a print I've got to pull off. What is in my eye? There's a print I've got to pull off the printer and clean up, and then get the next part started. I'm sure my resin is probably sitting outside on the porch. Yep. Twitch users also have access to the ever-growing library of emotes. Aries just used the original facehugger. And by using the channel points, you also get access to the fully animated facehugger. Whatever got in my eye is still there. Yeah, I did that last night after I saw how much the torso, head, and right arm for Ringkiller took up. It's going to be another Cyberpunk figure. Um, but this time she'll have dual MP7s. No, it's not super glue. Don't ever want super glue in my eye again. Ah. Yeah, cyanoacrylate glue to the eye does not feel good. That or she's been given a caution for her use of excessive violence. Who knows? Just thought it looked different. And it's not like a typical gang bandana either. I do appreciate everybody who's been hanging out and watching. I hope I've been somewhat enjoyable. Hey, Flight Sim. Even with the discussion of Twitch's more deplorable habits lately, as far as some of the streamers out there, really has nothing to do with me. And honestly, don't give it any attention. Support the creators that actually create something, not the ones that just show off the goods for money. I think that's just about got it there. If this is dry, I'm going to slather it with the wash so it can dry again while we do the next things. I try to. There's sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I can get pretty intense. Just, and I know we all have those days, but there's just some times that nothing goes right, you know? Yeah, it's my second day off. Gonna try and be on again on Sunday. I don't know if it'll be in the morning or later in the evening. Um, it depends on when I wake up because we're going to see Ghostbusters about midday. So chances are the stream will be in the evening, afternoon time. Most likely starting about this time, depending on how long the movie is. Unless I feel like getting up way early, and I'll do it then. And then after that, my next day off won't be until the Thursday following. I don't know if I'll be able to stream that day. I've got to take the Camaro in for at least its post break in oil change so the mechanic can see how well the motor's done since October. Um, and then he can recommend adjustments for the carburetor and things like that after the fact. So, but even if the engine's not running perfectly, it's still running better than it was when I got it. Okay, let me get the basalt gray out. Yeah, we're gonna have to do an oil wash on that too. Maybe. I might just leave it looking like dingy metallic like that. We'll see. And if you see me bopping to music, just ask what song's on if you want to give it a try. I'd probably listen to something that's a lot different to what most people listen to these days. Like right now, it's Seattle by Public Image Limited. It's advisable not to spray lacquer clear over acrylics regardless, because that will always happen. If you base in lacquer, you can put acrylic over. If you base in acrylic, you must consistently and constantly use acrylics over, unless you're doing enamel washes or something using mineral spirits or odorless mineral spirits, things like that. You generally cannot put lacquer over acrylic or it will always ruin the paint. I'm sure there's others out there that would argue that fact with me, but as a general rule of thumb, you never put acrylics over, or you never put lacquer over acrylics. Because even cold lacquers like Tamiya and some of the softer testers lacquers are still way too hot of a paint. There we go. Still looks like a black and yellow bandage or bandana. He's got some nice highlights and shadows. Because, yeah, we're all looking at her bandana. Okay, let me get my dark and light flesh tones out. Like I said, I've got some touch ups to do. I don't know how this drop of light blue got in here, but it did, actually. I don't use alcohol thinner. Um, and again, Tamiya clear, I've not put over acrylic ever. Tamiya spray cans might be compatible with their own paints, but as a rule, if I'm doing clear coats over acrylics, it's always an acrylic clear. Well, it's the same thing that's put me off using a lot of the. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. I should say all of the MIG range of stuff is when you open it up and it smells like gasoline and turpentine. You know it's not good for your plastic. It's not good for your paint, and you really shouldn't be putting it on anything. Sorry for bumping the mic again. Yeah, I like how that looks now. That's an old game. But at least you're not in here trying to talk up Helldivers. I'm tired of hearing about that game. I think I downloaded it once about 6 years ago, but I never started playing it. It was always just another one of those free to play games to me. Oh, I'm still trying to replay through the Stalker series again on Xbox. So who am I to talk? I think that happened the other night when Ripley fell over. Never played the Ninja Gaiden games. Actually, yeah, that is from the other night when Ripley fell over because there's gray paint on her butt cheek from Ripley's pants. This is doing something weird. I think I'll just let that dry and see what that turns into. raining again. I have. Right now, I just use a clear floor finish. Wow. That was creepy during the power outage yesterday. Sitting here, I got the Enterprise going, all turned on, so I'm hearing its motors whining. Got the lights behind me on, got my printer going, all of a sudden everything just goes boom. And even the surge from the shutdown, my subwoofers went whoa. You know, it was crazy sounding. Top seated properly. There we go. I like how the zippers turned out there. This is 1/3 scale. Yeah, just there's so many Tifa figures out there lately. It's perverse. Let's see about getting her head attached now, shall we? Need to stand her up. Stay standing. Don't fall over for right now until I can glue you in. Ah. There we go. Her head was weird. It had to go down and sideways at the same time because her hair goes partly over her coat. I just got to get this thing to dry, so I got to sit here and hold her for 20 minutes. Now, put this in front of the heater. Actually, let me get my shirt. That's what I can do. There. Now I'm not putting all the weight on the mantis blades. And I can work on this a bit more, getting it dried out. Yes and no, because you have to think the 1/6 figure is capable of casting its own shadows more effectively as far as like the clothing and the body shape. There's things you can do to enhance it, but you got to keep them more subtle. Like it's more visible in person, but there's actually a painted shadow along here, similar to her flesh tones. You want them. It's hard to describe. You want them more natural looking and feeling. You don't want them as stark or overemphasized as if they were smaller scale. There's that. Where's my burnt sienna? There it is. Hey! You know, I'm not big on the comic book stuff. They kind of pushed people like me out of their so called market. That and I always thought of the idea of superheroes like Superman and stuff were kind of just meh. It's like the embodiment of that kid that you'd always run into when you were younger. And you'd have your action figures with, their capabilities, right? And there's always that one kid, well, mine's got anti this, and it's like Superman's kind of the same way. They always make it so he's vulnerable to something, and then he's no longer vulnerable to it. It's like, come on, guys. The only thing that's been consistent is the kryptonite. Maybe that's why Batman works so well with some people, is because he's actually capable of being stopped. Okay, so I'm applying the burnt sienna wash now. And this is for that more powdery orangey rust look. It looks a lot stronger than it'll dry when it's actually done. And this is artist oil paint and odorless mineral spirits. Yeah, I might get back to the Grizzly next week at some point, just so I can finish it and get the massive box out of here. Good lord. Yeah. But I'm afraid that's all we have for today. It's been 3 hours and 14 minutes. The figure is assembled, but we are now constrained by the wash and its ability to dry. There will be a YouTube short up for it later. I just need to get the base finished. But I'm going to go bug the wife, see what we want to do about dinner. Thanks for watching. Thank you again for the bits earlier from Airy Studios. But that's all we have time for today. So see y'all later and have a good